What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Spiritual Trip back for another video. Before I get into tonight's topic, I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's rocking with me, all my new subscribers. I appreciate y'all a lot. Welcome to the channel. My channel, my whole purpose of my channel is I want to help people grow as well as myself. I'm growing, and while I'm learning and figuring a lot of stuff out, I'm teaching it as well. A lot of my stuff comes from life experiences, just being around the block a couple times, yeah. So yeah, with that being said, tonight's topic is, if you spend too much time around toxic negativity, it's gonna start to drain you eventually. Like, if you're in a toxic environment, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a family household, whether that's a work environment, whether that's friends, whether that's clubs, wherever, if a majority of the energy you're around is toxic and you're around it for a long time, it's gonna start to affect you in the worst ways. You're gonna find yourself being more negative. You're gonna find yourself being less positive, less motivated, less determined to do anything. Like, you have to get out of those toxic environments in order for you to start seeing the light, in order for you to start growing. You can't grow around people that's constantly toxic 24/7. Like, somebody that's constantly in a bad mood 24/7. Like, it's okay to go through stuff, but if that person is always feeling some type of way about any and everything, yeah, you got to get from around them people. If the people you with, family, friends, if all they do is complain and look at the dark side of things instead of the bright side of things constantly, you got to get away from them kind of people, because it will drain you. It will have you feeling like stuck. Now, I know some people's situations is different. Some people forced to be where they at right now because of whatever their situation is, but you have to start planning to make your situation better, because if you're in a toxic environment for too long, it's gonna start rubbing off on you. If you're in just like an abusive relationship, if you're in an abusive relationship, after a while, it's gonna start showing, and you can't hide it. It's gonna be almost come impossible to hide after a while. If you're around toxic family members and all they do is talk about negativity, you got to get away from them, because eventually that's going to become you. You want to surround yourself around things that's growing. You don't want to surround yourself with dead plants and dead energy. You got to surround yourself with things and people and places that's growing, or at least trying to grow. Don't People get stuck being where they at, and they get comfortable being where they at. And if they could keep you where you're at a same low vibration, then they will. If you're not strong mentally, it's going to start to show, and it's going to start to rub off on you, whether you like it or not. So you got to be able to identify these people. You got to be able to identify who's good for you, who's not good for you. You have to be able to identify this, and you can do that by spending some time by yourself, by sitting by yourself and being alone for some time. Now, it's a big difference between being alone and lonely. If you alone, that's by choice. You alone because you understand that it's some work that needs to be done so you could get to the next level, and you purposely choosing to be alone. If you lonely, that's a whole different story. That's the opposite. You lonely because you ain't got nobody. I'm alone. I choose to be alone, but I know I got family, friends. I know I got a whole lot of resources that I could turn to if need be, if I was ever feeling lonely. But it's a big difference between feeling alone or being alone and actually being lonely. Like, being lonely, a whole different ball game. That's when you really feel the need to be around. You crave being around people, but you don't have nobody to be around, because either the people you want to be around ain't genuine, or it's just, yeah, nah, that's different. But you have to choose to be alone if you want to become self-aware, so you can identify these certain things. You have to listen to people. You have to listen to people that, you don't have to listen to people, but listen to people that been through things, so they could and take their advice. I've been through a lot of stuff, so I could tell you a lot of stuff that if you listen now and you actually apply it to your life, you could save yourself a lot of headaches. You could save yourself a lot of time by just listening. And that's something I had to learn. It's a few people that, when I look back at it, if I would have just listened to them, I would have been in a whole different spot in my life. But at the same time, I'm appreciative of the journey. Like, I'm happy I went through what I went through. I had to sit back and really think about it. What I went through made me who I am. I probably wouldn't even be making these videos if I didn't go through what I go through or went through. And it wasn't like I had the worst upbringing. It wasn't none of that. It was just I put myself through a lot of stuff by dealing with certain people, by being around certain people, and I had to take accountability for that. So I'm telling you, start taking accountability and start identifying like, yo, this environment ain't good for my health, for my mental health, because that's all we got at the end of the day. It's our mental. You could do everything else, but you can't escape your mind. Your mind is with you everywhere you go. You can't numb it. You could try to, but it never turn out good. So instead of trying to numb it and try to escape your reality, change your reality. Get away from those people that's toxic. Get away from negativity. Get away from, if you can, like I know everybody's situation different, but if you can get away from it, start getting away from it, because your mind gonna become mush if you stay in it. You don't want to be like that. I watch a lot of my friends go down a whole through depression. I've been through depression before, but it was for something totally different. But yeah, no, that's where it stems from not identifying the toxicity and not getting away from it quick enough. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I didn't get away from it quick enough, so it started to show. I started going to jail more than usual. I started doing a lot of stuff. Started doing just dumb shit more than usual until I took a step back and had to sit with myself for a little bit to realize, yo, I'm going down the wrong path. You have to be able to identify if you're going down the wrong path or the right path. We got unlimited free will to do whatever. Each choice you make come with a consequence. So if you're gonna choose to do something, just think about the back end before you do it. I know if I crash out or do some dumb shit, then I have to pay the consequences, either whether that's jail time, death, whatever the case may be. Any choice that I make now, I understand it has a consequence with it. So I'm very strategical with how I move now. So yeah, you have to be able to get up out them environments or put yourself in the position. And this is why saving money and stacking your bread is so important to me now, because yeah, you got to save up for a rainy day, because things could change like this. You got to learn how to go with the flow and adapt, as like, because life is constantly changing, you know, shit, every day something changing. So you got to be able to go with the flow and get ready for any shift and change. Get away from people that's not inspired to do anything but complain. If all they doing is sitting around and complaining, that's how you know it's toxic and you need to get up out of there. Start planning your escape route now. If you let's say low on money, if you working a job or got a job, tell yourself now, yo, I'm about to save this amount of money for this amount of time, meaning that if I ain't got, I'm not gonna order out, I'm not gonna party, I'm not gonna be seen, I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm about to lock in for 6 months to however long I need to do it for, whether that's working 2 jobs, whether that's working whatever, side jobs, hustles, all of that, just to get yourself in a different position that you're in so you can get out of the toxic environment. These are the sacrifices that has to come with the change. Once you do that, you get yourself in a better position, then cool. But if you constantly sitting in negativity, it's not going to be good for your mental. It's not going to be good for the people around you. It's not going to be good, period. So the moral of this video is just get away from the toxic. You have to get out of the toxic environment in order for you to grow. You're not going to grow around it. Let's say you a nice looking plant. If you root yourself in the center of a circle of dead plants, eventually you're gonna look like them, and that's not good. You don't want to do that. So learn how to reroute yourself around positive people. Watch positive shit. Don't be online just looking up negativity. Don't just be for the bullshit. So yeah, that's the main point of this video. I ain't gonna make it too long, but yeah, you just gotta put yourself in better environments in order for you to grow. Get away from toxic people. Get away from unmotivated people. Get away from people that's constantly looking at the problems instead of the solutions. Like, get away from all of that. Be your best you. Get your mind right so you can shine bright. You heard? Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And if you ain't got me as a friend on Facebook, add me on Facebook as Trip Guide with 2 D's in it. Sometimes I do cash giveaways. I'm gonna be doing that more often, just cause I like giving back. Just cause if I could afford to do something, I like to do it. You heard? So yeah, that's it. It's your boy Spiritual Trip. I'm out.